Hi, I'm Maz Compton. I'm a radio host and sobriety advocate. I have a 5-year-old son, a 2-year-old dog, and a wonderful husband. I kind of went from this kid who was sort of an up-and-comer as a radio producer, and then all of a sudden I was just on telly and going to red carpets and interviewing celebrities. Alcohol was everywhere, right? So we used to joke at MTV that the pay was terrible, but they would pay you in alcohol. I had zero awareness that it was kind of like leeching its way into my world because it was just so readily available. And there was really no one around me going, hey, maybe we should not drink tonight. Like it was all just like, let's just drink until the sun comes up. I found myself going to these events and feeling really nervous about it and really anxious. And so I just have a glass of wine because that would just kind of dissipate those feelings. And I think that started off quite innocently as a way to cope with these big environments that I didn't feel comfortable in. When I was looking at my life in 2014, I was like, I'm using this substance to cope with some big feelings and I don't have any other tools. And I don't call it a rock bottom, I call it just a line in the sand. A really good friend of mine passed away very suddenly and I just didn't have any tools to cope with grief other than alcohol. I was like, oh dear, if this is the only thing I've got when things are really bad and it's the only thing I've got when things are really good, I really need to find some other things and some other tools to cope with this vast array of emotions that I'm gonna be feeling on this really wild ride that I'm on called life. I thought, I'm not gonna try and moderate and try and, get through the week white knuckling it and then have a few drinks on the weekend. I feel like I'd been trying to do that for a while. I thought I just need to get it out of my life for a good amount of time. Internally, I was like, go girl, like you're giving this a real go. And then the third week in, day 21 or 22, and it was like the Matrix where I woke up and I felt like I was in a different world. I felt like my eyes were more clear, the trees were greener, the birds were chirping louder. I felt like my brain was so crystal clear for the first time in a really, in probably my whole adult life. From there I was like, I'll get to my birthday, which is the 2nd of March. And I got to my birthday and I had a birthday party and I didn't have a champagne or a beer or anything. And then the next day I was like, well, I'll just keep going again. And from there it was like, I'll get to the middle of the year. And then it was like, I'll see if I can do this for 12 months. So I kind of just kept resetting these little benchmarks for myself without this big pressure on me to be sober the whole time. Instead of sort of running from something, I started running towards a goal, and that worked really well for me because all of a sudden I wasn't living in deprivation and resistance constantly. I was actually running towards how much better can I feel? What else am I capable of? Let's keep unpacking this Pandora's box full of benefits. Not drinking was actually the biggest version of self-care I had ever done for myself. And I felt so good about it that I wanted to keep going, to keep exploring. And so it was this self-fulfilling prophecy where I was like, this is working. And this isn't a fad, this is a real lifestyle change that I have in the real world made, and I'm continuing to make that choice.